Igbo ndọma na-ege ntị ekene m unu. Onye na n'onu ya bụ Maazị Uche Okoye. Tata mụ na Maazị Gaius Chibueze bụ ife nọ nke tata ka anyị kpaa nkata gbasara ala Igbo. Maazị Chibueze kele ndị na-ege ntị.
Ndị Igbo ndị nke m ekenekwa m unu. Ọmụ aka na-akpọ Akọma na-edozi obodo one of ala Igbo.
Dalo no rinne.
Yeah.
We have a very serious problem na ala Igbo, and we have been talking about it and we can't stop talking about it. The truth is that until we begin to see positive change, we cannot stop.
Definitely.
And today we want to look at a lot of things. Actually, lebanye anya in so many areas. Lebanye na erimperi. Ọtụtụ ife anyị na-eme na ala Igbo na-agba anya mmiri. Ụfọdụ ndị anyị na-eme na anyị amụrụ na anyị na-eme. But we are looking at some of the critical things. Ihe nkata anyị ga-akpa ga-abụ omimi. It will be deep. You got to go. So, gee ntị ka ị nụrụ ife niile anyị na-akpa anya bụ gbasara ala Igbo. Ka ifu ka ọ ga-esi ebara anyị uru asị ndị Igbo. The first thing I chọrọ ịjụ gị bụ the role the young people should play towards the development of our Igbo. We look at how the young people, especially in the Bani Bundi Igbo, how they behave, their roles and the things they do on social media. And you ask yourself, what exactly is wrong with us? What are those roles they should play towards the development of our Igbo? And why are they not doing that? Why are they not playing those roles?
Thank you so much for that question. I personally feel the average Igbo youth hasn't lived up to expectation.
Yeah.
There are certain things, certain narratives. I see some of our young people unconsciously push around on the social media about Ali Igbo and Ndi Igbo. And sometimes when I see those things, I sit back and I cry. Because in this new generation of social media, you can actually demarcate a region subtly. And you can unconsciously become a contributor to your own pain and also to the pain of your people. Ilaya na social media, you got that most of these narratives being pushed about the Southeast as being laid back, as not being where a young person can grow. Most of these narratives are unconsciously pushed and promoted by Ndi Igbo, especially the young people.
Yeah, it's really very rampant. And sometimes when I see it, I shake my head, because you cannot continue to. And the bias no you cannot continue to demarcate, you cannot continue to demonize what belongs to you and expect people to take you seriously. The problem we have, especially the young people, and they do this thing without knowing the consequence of that. Because when you demarcate your place, demarcate your house, and you go to someone else's house where it is being promoted and you expect to be given respect, do you think our people who go to Lagos, in fact, in my opinion, I don't think they, or Abuja or anywhere else, I don't think they are respected, because the respect you are going to get from anybody will largely depend on how where you are coming from looks like.
Perfect.
No matter how great you are, no matter how accomplished you are, if your homeland is not doing well, you are the number one ambassador of where you come from.
Exactly.
And that is what it is.
I have often said something that as a people, we have failed as an Igbo people. Every Igbo elite, they should all bury their head in shame. We are known to be very great people, but our homeland has not really reflected that greatness.
The braggadocious,
you understand?
The proud Igbo people are able.
The proud Igbo people are able. But Ibian Ali Igbo, and you ask yourself, are these really the people that these people outside are celebrating? And the problem I see is because we have not made any conscious effort.
Yes.
Most of our people have not made any conscious effort to market Ali-Igbo the right way, to develop Ali-Igbo, because you see most of even our young people, you see most of them. Okay, I give you an example. I saw a tweet by one young Igbo lady, and she said, she said something like, I never knew living the southeast could be a breath of fresh air. When you unconsciously say things like that, what you have just told an outsider, what you have just said to an outsider is that
South is a no-go area.
Yes, Southeast is a no-go area. That Southeast suffocates people. That Southeast is going to suffocate you. That Ali-Igbo is not where you're going to stay and grow. So when people make such kind of unguarded tweets or posts on social media, remember that anything you put out on social media is seen by millions of people.
And they don't know the consequence of that, because when you put out things like this, and it pains me because maybe you are coming from a particular town or you have a particular experience.
Exactly.
And you use that your experience to generalize every other experiences. Remember, you have a lot of cities within Ali-Igbo that are thriving so well.
Exactly.
People are making a living from there. People are living very beautifully. People are even relocating outside Ali-Igbo down to this place.
You understand?
And you still, maybe it didn't favor you, it didn't do well, it didn't go well with you, then you just go on social media and begin to say unprintable things. These are the ways we demarcate the place. And okay, look at, let me take it to that lady, for example. She's saying that she never knew that she would have a breath of fresh.
It's a living Ali-Igbo is like breath of fresh air.
Let's say he wasn't employed when throughout her stay in Ali-Igbo. If every other person every other person was making this type of tweets, yes, she made that day. What she got is exactly what will be happening.
Exactly.
Because
that experience becomes the general experience of everybody. Because even as an investor, now people do research before they go set up businesses.
True.
So whatever you post about your region online, you are contributing to either the negative archive or the positive archive for your region.
Yeah.
And I hate making references to other regions when I am discussing Ali-Igbo. But have you noticed that outside Lagos, let me use the southwest for example. Have you noticed that outside Lagos, which was a former capital of Nigeria, which was a former British colony, where the British lived and they developed, and also Lagos has also become like the economic capital of Nigeria, where people from all walks of life have contributed to build Lagos. Do you know that outside Lagos in the southwest, there is no other state in the southwest that can match any state in the southeast? When we talk about internal development,
yes,
there's no other state. But I rarely see people from this region come make some kind of tweet and post. I see some of our young people
making ridicule of their place.
Yes, you understand?
I think it's something that we begin to educate our people on, not just raising their awareness. And that's why this platform is here. Our people need to understand that the way you make your bed, that's how you're going to line on it. The way you portray Southeast, that is how you're going to reap from it. If you make Southeast look like an Eldorado, people are going to see it as an Eldorado. If you project it as a worst place on planet Earth, that's how people are going to treat it. People who live in Afghanistan, they are doing business, they are doing so well. People who live in Iraq, people live in Syria, in Libya, all those places that are experiencing war. Madu be ebawa. And them madu ne make ebawa now thrive. They are not running on to any other place telling the media that the world that their place is dead, so
nobody should go there.
I don't know why it is always from our people. Then you look at skit makers or And that brings me to the next conversation we need to talk about. The way our Igbo youths on social media, they market Ali Igbo without even knowing, especially through their crafts. In a craft, you are very good at it. But you have never thought of how you can use your craft to make and project Ali Igbo to look better in the eyes of other people. The only thing you can enable is either you're portraying how
people pickpockets
or people, do negative things. And we don't know here now, but I go say, okay, how do I watch India movie?
Exactly.
India is the #1 rape. They have #1 rape cases
in the world.
When you watch their movie, you will never see anywhere they kiss me for there. They portray their culture in positive light, so much so that you want to visit India.
True.
South Korea, the same thing. You think when you watch South Korean movie or Dick in Nonka, that's why our young girls are
they
have their idols all over
the next season of any South Korean soap opera.
So they want to go to South Korea, they want to go to to go and see their idol.
Yes.
And the reason is because they have been intentional in engineering the minds of the young people who are watching their movies to see their place as a place where you can have beautiful things. And that is what we should be doing. No matter how how difficult it may be, you can still come up with something of a value.
What I always say is that in every situation, every location, there are always positive and negative. So there is no place in this world.
Yes.
I lived in the United States. I lived in Miami. I lived in so many places abroad. There is no place. Okay, take for example, I spent 4 years in the UK. The UK has the #1 cases for knife violence.
Yes.
Per knife. In the UK, almost every day, at least 10 young people, 10 teenagers die as a result of knife violence. But these things have not been projected as if don't come to UK. Don't bring your children to UK. If you come to UK,
you're going to be
you're going to be killed. Your child is going to be stabbed. So now I am saying that there are positive things in the UK and there are negative things.
Yes.
But even their media have not really, or their young people have not really portrayed it as the capital for knife violence.
Yes.
You understand? So what we are not saying cover up negative things.
Yes.
But we are only saying that in the same vein, most of these young skid makers, I watched one of those skid makers. The ones that get me so mad and angry are the ones that make it feel like you have to leave the Southeast to make it.
Look at that.
There are some young people I see, they were making skit and then they showed themselves in the Southeast. They showed themselves like they were struggling and this and that and that and that and that. They showed all the negative things and then they moved, and immediately they moved, they showed themselves as if they now met success. And also, no thanks to Nollywood, to the old Nollywood.
I was gonna say that. Another one, and when you na Lekki na Lagos. Once the bany okwenye na apunu bereba. Once no patara obelego, the next thing Ojebeleki. The next thing Ojebeleki, they don't think about. We have better places here in Enugu, here in Owerri, here in Oka, in many places you can. All madu mere that Lekki ahu iji na anu afia.
True.
All madu febuli isi abo. The same way they are doing that their place, you can do the same
way. Yeah.
If you elevate this place, if you put this place on that pedestal, it will become it. Yes.
And
people should understand how the world works.
True.
Because to them, whatever they see, they just consume it and take it and run with it. So our Nollywood made a mess of our culture. They portray it in such a way that you can only make success when you go to Lagos, and that led to
when you live Southeast. Yes, once the old Nollywood made it look like you have to live Southeast. That's why you see a maker and they made it also look like the whole of Southeast is bush.
Yes,
like
it's a village.
It's a village. Like there is no city. And I also have a problem with young people who say, even I saw some young people who stay in somewhere like in Lugbe in Abuja that is a village, or that is a suburb. that is not even compared to Independence Layout here in Enugu.
Yeah, mentioning
they say
layout.
yes,
that's a very big place now.
I see some of them say things like, I'm going to the village this December, even if that person is from the capital of Enugu. Somebody is coming from Lugbe and coming to Independence Layout and he's telling you that he's going to the village. I feel that there are things that we should stop doing unconsciously.
Yeah.
Because when we refer to coming to the Southeast as coming to the village, what it actually means is that you're telling people that the whole of the Southeast is a village. You understand?
Because him and Hana portray Ali, and that's why when you tell your friends, just why your friends not getting on Lagos, because we will still talk about how to solve this problem.
Yes.
And when you tell your friends in Lagos or in Abuja or anywhere else, no, they don't want to go to the village. They are killing person there. That is what they see you. You go and never now go for all those negative things. No matter what they are seeing you as, they are not going to tell you. The day they are going to tell you, but now the day game porno go for nature kasologi.
Yes.
That they will tell you exactly what they feel about you. So how do we, how can we advise them to begin to change towards the right direction? Because there is a way the world works.
Yes.
If you watch in Hollywood, I see these guys portray America type of way.
Yes.
No matter how much that's the movie is supposed to end, they must portray American citizen as somebody that is honest, that has integrity, that is here to protect the world.
Yes, to save the world.
To save the world.
The guy in an American movie, the guy who is always coming to save the world is always an American.
Yes. So
that is a subtle.
It's a subtle way of passing a message, and that is what social engineering is about.
Exactly.
So if you are listening to us, if you are watching wherever you are watching from, and you are a content creator, you write story. We are. I'm going to indicate that story. We are the best storytellers in Nigeria, so we can use our software. What we have, that is the best storytelling ability. Begin to create powerful stories and content that will redirect that mind. We need to begin to change the setting. Let that place where the Emeka has to go to make money become Onitsha.
God bless you.
Let it become Aba. Let it become Onitsha.
I'm sorry to cut you. So, as an investor, a young lady wrote a script, very powerful script, and she brought it to me to sponsor the movie. She needed 4 million naira. I had the money, and I was ready. I told her, I said, let me see your script. And then when I saw in that her script that in the storyline, this young lady is supposed to struggle in the Southeast to go make it in Lagos. I told her, I said, here is the money. I'm willing to give you this money, but I can't support this. I told her, I said, I can't sponsor this narrative.
I'm telling you.
I asked her, I said, there are people who have lived in Enugu and they have made it in Enugu. They have
been to Anambra.
They have been to Anambra and they have lived in Anambra. They have made it in Anambra. I know my uncle who has lived in Aba for the last 37 years. He has never left Aba. In fact, he has never even left the Southeast.
There's so many of them.
This person is a millionaire that can match any millionaire anywhere in the world. He made all his money from shoemaking at Aba. I was with him for 8 months.
There are so many of them. There are so many of them.
So many of our people like that. So
what you did is very important, because Imana, they usually complain about Easterners not investing in content creation, or not investing. Some of them also compare themselves with the guys in Lagos, and they say that they are not recognized, they are not supported, or they are not being carried along.
Yes.
I met one content creator, and I was having a conversation with him on the whole thing, and he said, "Nobody had that support. How they need support?" I was like, "Okay, maybe you don't know the reason why they are not supported."
Exactly. This could be the reason.
Yes, that particular the set of people who will give you that type of support are very conscious people. You cannot be creating content that demarcates IGBO and expect somebody like, for example, Chibeze, support you,
No.
or somebody that knows what it means to demarcate,
yes,
he can't give you any,
no. I can't
support.
do that.
You cannot also expect Ndi Igbo to also embrace you when your content
makes jest of them, portrays them as local people, and you want them to support you and celebrate you. No,
certain cap, there is this cap was seen as a bad thing. You know, if not for Odumodu Black that came and revive that. It was our Nollywood that made that cap very bad, that people started disassociating themselves from that cap.
True.
So we do it, we think it is fun, we think it's something that is funny, but it's not. You are consciously, unconsciously destroying yourself. Now, there are ways to go around this. You know, when we talk about the problem, we also provide a solution. One of the ways is very easy. Let's reverse all those storylines.
Exactly.
Start picturing Ali Igbo to the world. Think about how you are going to push Ali Igbo or put any content that will represent Ali Igbo to the world.
I always say something, Uche. I always say, talk about Ali Igbo the way you want to see it.
Yeah.
And this is the American marketing strategy.
Yes.
Uche, you know, when you hear of California, what do you think? Tech. Facebook and the rest of them were built in Silicon Valley. But do you know this same California has a drug pandemic?
Wow.
Like, if you go to a street called San Diego, if you go to some part of California right now, as I'm talking to you right now, I can call someone on Zoom call and I can call someone on FaceTime call, and you're going to see over hundreds of homeless people on drugs walking like zombies.
I saw a video of Philadelphia. Like that.
It's also like that in Philadelphia. It's like that in major cities in America.
Wow.
But do you know what? America will never show you that. America will show you that the guy who will save the world is an American in their movie. America will show you about their tech. They will show you about their technology. It is time for Ndi Igbo to also start thinking like this.
Yeah.
Because you must see, the thing I always tell people is, as far as you are an Igbo person, no matter how you try to strip yourself of your identity, a day will come when these people you have been trying to impress, you have been trying to
remind you.
They will remind you who you are. We saw it happen in 2023.
It happens every time.
Even people who were not Igbo people, but who looked
like
as
Igbo
beautiful
people
as us, they started attacking them, telling them that you are Igbo. One of my Akwa Ibom lady friend, she was telling me, people want to kill me for your people. Oh, they said I look like Igbo. I say, you see, so one of the ways to, or one of the solutions to this is think of yourself, be patriotic.
Yeah.
Have this love for Ali Igbo. Sell the Ali Igbo you want to see.
Another one again, because there's something our people do. It's very funny because I usually engage people on that. So you see people complain, these Igbo people are this and this and that and that. I'll ask him, who is doing this? Who exactly is responsible for this bad thing? Yes. Because there is, all of them are saying the same thing. So who exactly is responsible? Because you are seeing a problem that you are complaining about, and you are not making any effort to solve it. Because that is your responsibility as a human being. After all, why are you here? The reason why you were created as an Igbo person is to become part of the solution. To Ndi Igbo. Complain or contributing to the problem. So if there is anything you see that is happening that Ndi Igbo are doing that you don't like,
start thinking of ways
how to correct it. Are you complaining to me?
I consciously do this. I will give you an example. I consciously do this. For some time there was some kind of negative stereotype that they always say Ndi Igbo they support Oweha. And I started consciously saying that if an Igbo person needs help, I must prioritize it. I must prioritize it. I am living, the life I'm living now is a life of Igbo first. If I go outside to any country and I see anything good, I must bring it to Ali Igbo. If I see anything good from outside, the only place I'm thinking of taking it to in Nigeria. So until we consciously start putting ourselves first.
What you said is very important. Let me tell you why. Our people, especially political leaders, are billionaires.
Those ones, elite.
These people go to the finest and the best places in the world.
Yeah.
How many times have they been able to say, okay, this is beautiful, let me bring it home?
Something similar.
I think because there is zero consciousness, there is zero
low patriotism,
loyalty to that word Igbo.
Zero patriotism.
Another thing, Chief, I wanted to say something. There is high level of disrespect Ndi Igbo na-enye Igbo people.
Yes.
That word Igbo.
Ndi Igbo na-enye
Igbo people disrespect Igbo so much that you see people make very sweeping statements about Igbo. Yeah, from Ndi Igbo ahụhụ onwe ha n'anya, say something like that. Igbo people are wicked.
Yeah.
Igbo people are this. You dare. You say something demonizing about where you belong to.
And most of these people only have this experience with one person.
I wouldn't even with every person. Let me tell you what happens. Because it's ignorance to think that when you quote unquote we are speaking the truth, because we are saying the truth. Let's tell ourselves
the truth. I hate that one. See, let's tell ourselves what's the truth.
To them it's
so
black
your
and
truth
white.
has now become
it's black and white.
Everything is now black and white. So your truth has now become my own truth automatically.
It's such a very poor judgment. And they claim and I've had very smart. This is where I scored them very poorly.
True.
A northerner told me that life that the problem he has with Ndebani is that we treat everything from truth or false. Like
exactly. Exactly. Right and wrong.
Yeah, right and wrong. That's what he used.
Yeah, right and wrong.
Everything is not right or
wrong.
No.
And
that's not how the world works.
Exactly. The world I was talking to someone, I said, the world doesn't operate on right and wrong
at all.
It's even at the lowest level of life that life operates at the level of right and wrong. You understand? Do you know, let's even use the Bible for example. Some of the things God did in the Bible.
Exactly.
God made the harlot the mother of God put Jesus Christ in the lineage of a harlot. God striked Moses and some other people in the Bible that were faithful to him.
And of course what he did to David.
Yes, and even what he did to David. Everything that David did.
So that's not how the world works. And if the world works the way you think it works, then that means all these politicians, all these rich people who are taking away your money, they will be having problems. They'll be suffering from leprosy and all manner of diseases. But it's not happening.
They are the ones enjoying life.
Again, when they see this, they begin to see it as you trying to absorb evil. No. Because the judgment is, it has to be condemned if it is this, if it is the other way around. And it is a problem that we have not really been able to solve. And now you want
to hide the
yes.
truth. No, we are not how the world works. We are not saying some of these things are not true.
Yes.
Listen to what we are saying. We are saying as much as they are positive, they are also negative. And that is just reality of life. But we are saying that you should be so patriotic that you don't generalize. Number one.
Yes.
One problem we are having is a problem of generalization. Somebody who has lived in maybe Imo State will just make one statement for the entire Southeast.
Somebody
who has lived in just Ebonyi State will make one statement about the entire Southeast. So generalization, number one, is one of the problems. Then number two, reinforcing stereotypes.
Yes.
When you reinforce stereotypes, what you're actually doing is that you are saying this stereotype should always be there. You are saying that, yes, I support this thing. So what we are saying is that, yes, some of these negatives are there. Start with yourself first. I just said something in my last interview. I said, Ndi Igbo must get to a point where we will acknowledge the role we have played in our own suffering.
Yes.
And when we start acknowledging that role, every majority of our young Igbo people have played a role in demarketing our father's land.
True.
The majority, the reason that most companies today don't have their head office in the southeast is as a result of what some of these young people viewing this podcast now right on social media.
Yes.
Because some of these companies, they just go online to get opinion on things.
Yeah.
And
True.
so you have contributed to the negative archive of the southeast. As they just put southeast or Aligbo, what they are seeing is negative. Meanwhile, your experience was just even not a very narrow experience that didn't even involve 10 people.
And that brings me to opportunities that exist in the southeast. So I was talking to a friend the other day where we are saying, look, he was asking me what are the opportunities that exist in the southeast. He said, when you come to southeast, you create opportunities. You become very useful to Aligbo. The thing is, the idea of coming to seek for opportunity, that does not mean that you cannot find.
Yes,
if you
they exist.
But you have to have it at the back of your mind that you are coming here to make contribution to the society. But if you and another thing again is that if it is something that you are looking at in a very quick succession, a man again with something out there very tangible.
Very tangible. And it's the same all over the world.
Yes, it has to be a long-term plan, very well, calculated. And when the truth is that when you have a plan on Nigeria, now got this
smooth
because of the policy inconsistency.
Yeah, policy inconsistency.
Now,
true.
In Aligbo, the peculiarity is that the competition is very high because people are very hardworking.
Yeah,
that is something that you must recognize. But you cannot expect everything to be on the platter.
No, that is even why you are an entrepreneur. No, as an entrepreneur, if you yourself as an entrepreneur, if you're thinking of the Southeast, think like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If everything was easy, if the answer to every question existed,
yes,
then you are no longer an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You cannot make anything.
You cannot make anything. So as an entrepreneur, you were supposed to create a solution to a problem here, and then people give you their resources.
And if you think you are too good, you are anywhere else, come to this place and implement. So that is what we should be doing. And we can look at the promising sectors in the southeast.
Yes.
That young people can do, and also to improve their stay here. One of the things a lot of people have complained about is the remuneration problem, Chief. People don't get paid, especially working in many companies in the southeast. They are not paid well. In offices here in the southeast, they are not paid well. Their salary scale is quite low. So how do we encourage young people to stay in the southeast and work? Okay,
before I come to the answer of that question, I want to also talk about one of the opportunities I personally see here in the southeast. Is one of the biggest opportunity I see right now in the southeast, because how I think is, I always think about how can I create a solution, or how can I create a business that doesn't depend on my current geographical location to make money. Thank God for content creation. Mark Angel lived in Port Harcourt and was making hundreds of thousands of dollars from
very
YouTube.
Beautiful example.
Mark, you understand?
Yeah.
He didn't make any money from Port Harcourt.
He didn't live Lagos.
He didn't even, you understand? So content creation is one of those things that as a young person, you can live here in the southeast and feed the world with content, and then get paid, and then use that money to develop.
Yes.
Yeah. Most of our videos on this Voice of the East right now is monetized on YouTube. This video is going to go now on YouTube now. As more people, Igbos in diaspora and the rest other people are watching it, we are going to make money.
Yes.
So content creation is something I think that
is the lowest hanging fruit.
It is the lowest hanging fruit, because almost all of us walk around with phone. There are this kid group called Paco Kids.
Okay.
Some time ago, I invited them to this studio, and I supported them with an iPhone, and then we granted them an interview here. They live here in Enugu. They are still children going to school. They are being managed by their uncle. They live here in Enugu, but they earn from some of their videos have millions of views, shared across most social media platforms in the world. And these people say they live here in Enugu and they earn money from the internet. So they don't necessarily need to relocate from here to anywhere. So I'll come back to your question where you talked about how can people be well compensated, because one of the problem I personally see, and this is a problem, and that is why as an entrepreneur you need to also think about the solution. Yes, most young people complain that companies in the Southeast don't pay much. They don't pay much, and yes, I am a witness to that most of these companies are not innovative enough, or some of them are not big enough to be able to afford to pay much. So one of the challenges is this. One of the challenges some people have given to me as why they moved out of the Southeast is because they are not being paid much. I give you an example. A young lady was working somewhere before and she said she was paid 30,000. So I was interviewing her for a role here at Voice of the East. So I asked her, how much will you like to be paid as a salary for this role I just explained to you using 30 minutes? She said, if I can pay her like 35,000, she'll be happy. I said 35. I say, okay, that's not bad. But how will you feel if I start your role at 100,000? This was like 2 years ago when we employed her. I said, how will you feel if we start your role at 100,000? She started crying. Why was she crying? She said, this will be the first time where she is going somewhere to look for a job, and then they are even offering her more. And they are also like rating her high. So we need to consciously want to pay our people better. This my advice is to companies or businesses in the Southeast.
Business owners.
Some of you make more profit and you actually underpay your staffs. So if you are a business owner in the Southeast, for goodness sake, up the amount you are paying to people
especially
working.
Now,
you understand?
Yeah, we have inflation that is eating up in the salary.
In the salary. I give you an example. Some people have like a provision store. You have increased the price of biscuit 10 times this year, but you don't think that you have to increase the price of your sales girl. So you have increased your profit margin to match the current reality, but you don't also think your sales girl that pays her way to work, that buys biscuit for her younger ones and stuff, will also need a raise to be able to afford basic things. So and this thing you said, I'm not cutting short, but let me add to that.
If you do not pay your workers enough, at least something that can be useful to her or him, the person will become a problem to you. It's either the person starts stealing from you, or the productivity will be very reduced.
Yes, because they are very unmotivated.
I go to restaurants. How do I know that workers are not well paid? The way they attend to you. Once I notice bad customer service, I will not come in there again. And this is because I feel like when they go to wash the plates, they may not wash it well because they are not happy.
True. Even the preparing of the food, even the food preparation process.
Anywhere I go to and I do not sense that the workers are happy, I don't eat from them.
Even me, I don't.
Because anything that has to do with food,
you have to be careful.
I'm just using it as an example, but the owners of this business do not understand the need for their workers to be paid well. Because they feel that if they are paid well, it is a waste of money. So it is not a waste of money. So I think entrepreneurs or business owners should begin to see this as a way of encouraging and motivating the workers. You can give them incentives. If your salary is not enough, you can give them incentives.
Support them.
Especially those ones that are good. If you meet any worker that is very good, dedicated, try and do anything possible to retain that worker. It is very, very expensive to have, difficult, rare to see somebody that is very good in the field of their work. So once you get one, make sure you retain the person by making the person very happy,
yes, very
and comfortable,
uncomfortable,
at least.
a bit. Yeah,
So because the brain
Not so
drain
much.
is affecting our libo.
It is.
The more you have reduced in brain drain, it will affect the customer service,
Everything.
the delivery, and if the customer service delivery is low, it will affect
The business.
and it will affect your income. They don't see this, the chain of reaction. I tell you another one. So there is this particular hotel that I usually lodge whenever I come to Enugu, and I noticed that they usually have problem around is either the door. Sometimes the door will be having issue or the mirror is, and I would call the manager and ask, why are you guys not fixing this?
Yes,
this is going to cost you, your customer is going to, is it that your workers don't see it? And he told me that they are not reporting, they are not telling me anything, they will just keep quiet. I quietly asked one of the workers, how much are you earning? And she mentioned, I asked her, are you happy with this? She said they don't even pay them.
So,
and I saw the reason why they don't.
Yeah, because they are very unmotivated.
Yes,
if you don't care, if you don't pay someone well, they will not take the business as their business.
Just small thing. Maybe the AC is having issues. They will not going to report.
No.
And when the person,
they are very unmotivated.
So these are the very issues that that we must pay attention to as indeed. But we must begin to look at it as an immediate problem and begin to solve, because brain drain has really affected us, and it has really reduced the productivity in the land. And a lot of people come here and witness customer service and they begin to complain. I've encountered a lot of my friends. They will come down they will tell me how customer service is terrible. I agree. They will tell me how service delivery is terrible.
True.
I agree. But what led to that? You guys are coming from Lagos and coming from Abuja, and the remains of people or people who are delivering services here,
service providers
here are no longer, they are not quality enough, they are not motivated enough.
True.
So these are the things that contributing to that poor service delivery. So when you do not motivate your workers, the chain reaction is going to be immense, and that's what I think.
Yeah. It's a big problem. So let's look at how can business owners pay talents well to be able to retain them. Apart from what we have said, is there any other strategy you're looking at? Yes,
maybe
one of the strategies I am also looking at too, for proper compensation.
Okay.
I call it compensation because compensation is more than just salary.
Okay.
I give you an example. In my establishment here at Voice of the East, or East Side Ventures, we do something we call 13th month.
Wow.
Where we say, okay, every Christmas we are going to pay you, for every December we're going to pay you for 2 months.
Wow.
So we pay you double of your salary. Then occasionally too, we also tell some of our team members or staffs, as some people choose to call them, we tell them, okay, when are you paying your house rent? And the person will say, okay, I'm paying in July. We say, okay, remind us, we are going to support you with 50%.
Wow. And that will lessen the burden.
Yes, and that is like to lessen the burden. Then occasionally too, like when there is emergency fuel hike and some of those things, we tell them, okay, here is 20,000, here is 50,000, support your transport during this period. That is why you see, since we started this company, nobody has resigned.
Wow.
Nobody. I was talking to some of our team members and I was asking them if they would love to work somewhere else, and they said no, that they will continue to work here. Fine. I understand that not every business will afford this luxury of giving extra money.
Yes.
But occasionally when you go to your private room where you're checking the profit of your business, because for your business to keep running, it means that you're making profit,
even if it's 0.01%.
So for goodness sake, when you make this profit, ask yourself, how can you carry even if just a small fraction of it to support this person that provides service in your business, this person that is a worker in your company? How can you use some part of that your profit to just appreciate the person? And sometimes it's even good talk. Sometimes you motivate persons, you motivate your workers by the way you talk to them. the kind of things in Agwafa. You understand?
Even if there is a deficit in the project.
Even if there is a deficit, even if you're not making enough,
yes,
but you sell them the vision.
Yes,
you make them.
They will share in your vision.
Exactly.
And the pain too.
You make them feel like they are part of something big.
Yeah.
You make them feel like it's just for the meantime. We are going through small challenge.
Yeah.
You understand? And also, businesses in Alibo, Bikonu, stop owing people who are working for you. Most of these people depend 100% on their salaries to survive. Most of them have children.
It's terrible.
Most of them have children. Most of them have brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers that depend on them. Most of them even don't have any other source of income. I have seen situations where, as a business, you're owing your worker for 2 months.
And that reminds me, you see, the thing comes from a place. It comes from somewhere. Our political leaders, governors are owing salaries.
Those ones
are years of salaries. And this is something that I think, in my opinion, that has motivated or somehow inspired some of these business owners who are owing their workers salary, private sectors. It shouldn't be. There should be a law, that criminalize,
yes,
owing of salary. There should be a law.
Yeah, there should.
And the Nigerian Labour Congress, I mean, that's a different conversation
on its own.
You see, that is the problem we have in the region. We can find a way to criminalize that owing of salary. But because of the people who are supposed to implement or enforce this law
are also owing. If state government. So if you are in government and you're watching this, we want you to understand that it is a very big sin.
It's evil.
It's evil. Owing your workers, owing people who are working for the government. Because some of these government parastatals owing, they receive allocation. They don't owe themselves.
Yes.
The person at the top is always eating well,
sleeping well, even give himself bonuses.
Even giving himself. You imagine. It is even shameful as a governor that some people in the state are not paid and you are collecting wardrobe allowance.
It's painful.
Are you even thinking at all?
So now it's also a place where we can also talk about it, but we can say it's a different conversation. Our people should begin to speak up against this form of abuse. It's an abuse. It's an abuse. It's an abuse. Our people need to find a way to coalesce our voices against owing of salary. It's a crime against humanity. It's a crime. We have to treat it as a crime.
True.
Yeah. So because if somebody is owed salary for months and the person goes to commit crime as a result, then if they catch the person, they can kill the person. The person can go to prison. But the reason why he or she had to go through that length is because you are owing him. So these things are very key. True. Now, another thing is that the business owners are most of them are the elites in the society. There is a role the Igbo elites have played in regional migration. There is a negative consequences on the young people, especially the ones that look up to them. You see Igbo elites, parading flamboyantly in Abuja, flamboyantly in Ikeja, Lagos, elsewhere but Alibo. And when young people grow and watch them on TVs or see them on social media, they aspire to be like that. I think our Igbo elites are not alive to their responsibilities. Some of them have subconsciously, cemented that mindset of migrating. Yes, there is a culture of migration. Yes. It's not a problem. There's no problem in migration. But why we migrate, we have to remember to make this place our fortress.
Exactly.
That is where the Igbo elites are getting it wrong. We should be able to also attract migrants to come and live with us. Our people go as far as Tema, Ghana. Places that are Alibo is far better than.
Yeah.
Just to live. Why can't we attract people from there down here?
Yeah. I saw an Igbo boy that was always showing himself, he's living big and everything. And then he's also one of all those people that talks down about the Southeast. And I asked him, where do you live? He said he lives in Lagos. You know this site that is close to Ibadan or whatever. All these outskirts village of Lagos. All those places. And I was telling myself, this place you're living now, is it better than Igbo? So the truth here is our Igbo elite, to be very honest with you, they have failed. Nobody is against migration. Yeah. Nobody is saying everybody must live in Igbo.
After all, the philosophy in Igbo culture, there is Njepu. Njepu is something that we are known for. We are itinerant people. Because I name a business. And then business because in a genjem. So my problem with the kind of migration we have in the southeast is, especially the new migration. Yes. The old kind of migration we are used to, which I support, is that migration that an Igbo man goes out, does business, becomes successful, then brings back wealth to establish in Igbo, which is the same thing I have done. I left Nigeria, I went to the UK. From the UK, I moved to Dubai. From Dubai, I went to the United States. But in all these 9 years of my sojourn, outside the United States, all my businesses are in Igbo. I don't own anything outside the region. The next thing, the first thing we go on and Lake.
You understand? So exactly. So on a personal level, every business, Voice of the East is one of it. Ohanese Farm is one of it. I am also building Tech City. So everything I have actually made from outside, I brought it back to Igbo land to establish here. And now I am here telling you that this is the best way to migrate. Whatever it is that you see that is good outside, because some of our Igbo people make it look like
they cannot be Odogu here.
No, like they make it look like Igbo is just a burial ground.
Oh, goodness.
That you cannot come and establish anything. And I asked something at the last Southeast Business and Investment Summit, and I asked, if everybody develops, if every Igbo person keeps investing in Abuja, developing Lagos, developing all these places, who is going to create opportunity for our young people?
Yes, that's a very good question.
Who is going to create opportunity? Because not every of our brothers and sisters can actually live Igbo.
Another thing, let me add another thing. So there is a way our people treat Igbo that is very shameful. For somebody, it's true that you don't tell people how to spend their money.
Yes.
Only business or go yourself. We call local businesses. Or headquarters where Abuja and Lagos. More structure you know, Koyalona South is the cheapest, and
yes,
the lowest in quality.
Yes,
and also, that is how they view the person who views Southeast.
Yes,
something that deserves something very cheap. It's a mindset problem.
It's a mindset problem.
Because let me tell you, the people we compete with globally, I don't think there is any group of people that behave this way. I look at South Africans, I look at Indians, I look at Germans,
even the Jewish,
you know, the Jews people that we always claim to have something.
We all want
they don't behave
we
this
claim
way.
to be part of the Jewish family, but unfortunately we don't think like them. Nothing,
absolutely. So it's such a very shameful thing, and it's always coming from the elites, and they should understand that their behavior, whatever they are doing, you know, they all have negative consequences on our young people. So if the insecurity that we are witnessing is over age-long abuse, age-long starving of their Igbo, of job opportunities,
development,
age-long starving of our Igbo development, you know, mentorship, and the right things. These are the things that are accumulated into the insecurity we are having today. Because if we, the older ones, especially the elites, had built what they're supposed to build in Igbo, they took them elsewhere. If they had collectively developed Igbo by making sure that who they elected are very responsive and responsible. All of these problems that we are witnessing today, that is chasing you away, that some of you claim as reason why you are not
coming back.
It is as a result of your negligence. Some of them are in their 80s and they're still in America. They are in their 80s and in Lagos.
I have some that have even returned to Nigeria, but they told me that they are going to be in Lagos and Abuja.
Yes.
Imagine how shameful it is that you stay abroad, you come back to Nigeria, and you cannot come down to Aligbo.
That is
your roots. You cannot even enjoy your Christmas in your father's house in Aligbo.
That is a sign of their failure to do what they're supposed to do.
We have actually failed. And Uche, I'm sorry to cut you there. I think this Igbo elites, one thing they need to consciously know is that wherever they are, especially these ones that show their money and wealth and they are building and develop Lagos, one thing I want them to understand is that if Igbo people could go to China, Japan and all these countries to go buy things and bring back to Nigeria to sell, to bring back to Aligbo to sell, you can set up factories in Aligbo today that people will come from all over the world to get from you from here.
True.
The business that you have, you can also set up some here in Aligbo and manufacture and produce from here for people to come from all over the world to come patronize you.
Let me also add, the excuses that there is no power, there is no this, there is no that. Let me tell you, do you know Chinese? They are all over the place. Just go move around Enugu, you see their companies establishing businesses and taking over.
They are taking over.
That thing you go to their country to buy, they are bringing them here. And by the time you know it, you are no longer going to, be in the business. So this is the best time for you to also be part of, co-own some of these businesses they are bringing here.
True.
So if the Chinese who are not from here can establish businesses here, and let me also add that there are also our people who have also done so well.
Yeah.
They've established business here and they are doing so well for years. It's not easy, but some what is difficult? Somebody be and someone has to do it. And let me also point that the last economic years that we have entertained due to multiple agitations and over the last couple of years, over last, I should say 8 years or 10 years. And the South is in the region. It has drawn us back. It has taken us backward economically, and of course socially. So, but moving forward, how do we, socially engineer or reorient our people, especially the young ones, towards thinking, develop Aligbo? Because they need to start thinking in that direction. The elites, the older ones, some of them are tired. And the digital economy has also taken them away from the equation.
Yes.
So we are focusing on the young ones who are digitally inclined, who understand what future entails because it's on their shoulder. How do we socially engineer our people's mind to begin to see Aligbo as a place that they can also develop to become what they wish to see?
So one of the ways I have personally done this, and one of the ways I will advise other people to do is by first of all seeing Aligbo as a place that can be developed. People go to look for, I will give you an example of real estate. You will hear that they have opened one real estate in this place. Then what realtors will start telling people is, go there and buy land before people start coming there.
Yeah.
That is how you should see Aligbo. Instead of seeing Aligbo as this deserted land, as this Afghanistan, as this no-go area, see Aligbo as where the opportunities are still not tapped.
Yeah.
Like where you can start. Aligbo right now is where you can start anything and the competition is not much.
Yes. And it cannot be waiting for people to do it so that you now come and you should be part of the solution.
So, number one way first to socially engineer our people, to also reorientate them, is through platforms like what we are doing right now. First, let your love for Igbo come alive. Some of us are so patriotic that we don't care. We are saying it is Igbo first. Personally, as I'm sitting down here, every investment I own is in Igbo.
And it has not really, has it removed anything?
No.
So, but why do people think associating themselves in Igbo it would reduce them or somehow make them no longer be nationally appealing? And you see them try to, make people see them more of a cosmopolitan, somebody that is much more detribalized. I hate when people say I am detribalized. No. Nigerian.
Why should you be? Why should you strip yourself of your tribe
identity and to be in the
your tribal identity? Your tribal identity is. I guess some people say he just talk like an Igbo man.
Why should he be talking like a European?
Why will an Igbo man be talking like an Hausa man or like a British person? You can never hear British tell another British and say you talk like British. No, they are British. Yeah, you are Igbotic.
On the bani, on the bani.
So you understand?
So buy na somebody na so Igbotic. Ndi buy na kuna ndi onye enwere oke esi dress as in a dress Igbotic. Our people are the ones doing this. But the thing is, if you look at all of these things, and I thank the fact that there is Voice of the East. We need lots more to in the media to be able to begin to speak truth to power, begin to also reorient our people. Yes. Because one of the ways to engineer people is through media. America has perfected this, and it is working for them. That's why they are in control of the world. They have the they control the world socially, economically, anywhere you can think of, and because they have perfectly stimulated the minds of the people to see them as the savior of the world.
Yes.
And you can do that. That thing you want Igbo to become has to be from you.
Yeah, you have
waiting for anybody.
The reason I posted something 2 days ago, I say the problem you are complaining about, it is God telling you that you need to create the solution.
That reminds me. Onye juru kita na onye obuna ikpara aka n'ọnụ the problem. Also ndị Igbo afro onwe fa n'anya. Igbo people Ijo Mr. Okeke osigi ndị Igbo afro Ijo Okafo onye obuna ejuru the same thing. So who is
yes. Because if you are generalizing, it means you're also the problem. The problem.
They always try to make it look like every other person or they are the ones speaking the truth. Let's not sell ourselves the truth.
Meanwhile, they are speaking the truth and kind of criminalizing themselves too. They are implicating
because
themselves
you are supposed to.
Yeah, because you should be the solution. Yes, you should be the difference. So you should be the difference.
The whole conversation is very important. It's not because there are a lot to talk about towards our Igbo development, but it has to be a core and a focal point. Because for the next 5 years, we continue to sing it as a song, ring it as a bell. Look, we must re-strategize towards development of Igbo. We must bring back our wealth home.
It's a do or die at this
Igbo a better place for us and for our future generation. We cannot continue to run to Abuja, Lagos, or elsewhere in search of greener pasture. We need to bring them here. We need to make this place viable. We must have to do it. We must continue to talk. There is also something our people do that I also think that we should change. For the past couple of years, we have not really been talking about our problem in the way we seated. The best place or the biggest platform where Igbo usually discuss their problem now until we started having platform like Voice of the East. Look at how we are talking about their problem. And one would say Radio Nigeria Mobile, NTN, but these are government control platforms,
control media
that you can't even talk about things.
Yeah, definitely. But they wouldn't even
now,
give you that.
Social media exists. Young people can now sit together, interrogate each other's opinion.
Twitter, Spaces, and the rest.
You can now talk and see the impact.
Podcast.
So what we need to start doing is that we need to start interrogating some of the belief system that is causing a lot of problem in the Igbo. You have people who believe that if not IPOB, if not Biafra, there's nothing else. People should be questioned and interrogated to see that there is also alternative to that?
I always tell people that for those who believe in Biafra, I always tell them that, have you thought about economic Biafra? The Catalans of Spain are the people I always like using to make reference. So these people before now used to agitate too. They said, oh, we want our own country. We want out of Spain. So I think it was in 1937 or thereabout, one of those years, their leaders came together and said, this agitation is not taking us anywhere. It is time for us to change our strategy.
Yeah.
And this, I want every Igbo person to listen to this.
Yes.
If you love Biafra, if you're a member of IPOB, DSG or whatever of the faction, BRIGA, I want you to listen to this attentively. So these people are called Catalans of Spain. The side, the Catalonia that you know.
They are where the Barcelona
where
is.
the Barcelona is, where Ibiza and the rest of all these other places are. I want you to listen to this. So they used to also agitate too that they want to leave Spain. That they are angry. That, oh, these people have done us well. Spain is not treating them well. So in 1 year like that, I think it was 1937 or thereabout, some of their leaders, their young leaders, just like yourself watching this, they came together and they said, this agitation will not take us anywhere. Let us re-strategize. Now, what did they decide to do? Listen. They said, let us start developing our own region, which is the Catalan, which is Barcelona and the rest. So what did they do? They started building Barcelona. They started building Ibiza, started building everything that you know today that is making Spain one of the most traveled destinations. So what did they do? They started building all these things, all these beautiful things. And guess what? As of today, anything you want to think of that is big in Spain is in their region.
Yes.
This is the same people that was agitated. They didn't go start fighting, start bombing, start saying sit at home. They used this strategy because they understood that economic power is the real power.
Exactly.
If we can come together as young people, instead of destroying Ali Igbo, see, look at Ali Igbo in the last 8 years. Look at how much we have lost as a result of sitting at home every Monday. Look at how much we have lost as a result of violence, unknown gunmen and all these things. If we can come together and say, we have wasted this last 10 years. Yes, Igbo. If you are an Igbo person listening to me, we have wasted the last 10 years. We started from 2014 to 2024. We have wasted it. But if we can come together moving forward in 2025 and say, let's start developing Ali Igbo. If you have any small business you want to start it in Ali Igbo. If your brother is doing any small business in Ali Igbo, you support him. If anybody wants to destroy any public infrastructure or private infrastructure or private business in Ali Igbo, you stand up and you say enough is enough.
Take ownership of the land.
You understand? You stand up. If anybody, you see anybody wants to destroy anything that brings progress to Ali Igbo, you said no. Somebody wants to bring down a street light, you said no. It will not happen again. The locust days are over. Because we have wasted 10 years of our life. Think about yourself. How many years are you right now?
10 years to your years. The current
10
years you are now.
To your years now. And see how we have wasted these 10 years. So one thing you should do right now as an Igbo person is take ownership. Tell yourself that Ali Igbo bunkai, Ali Igbo bunkem, that you are an Igbo person. If we can decide to have this mindset, we have had the other mindset for the last 10 years.
And look at where it is.
Let's try something else new. Let's try something new in 2025. Let's take this ownership and say, we are going to stand up for Ali Igbo. We are going to stand up for our fatherland. No more destruction. No more sit at home.
We don't have any other place
again to call our home.
That
we are going to build Ali Igbo. We are going to support people building in Igbo land, even if you don't have what to build. But you are going to support. A man not like this. Any person, whether Mobo Igbo, Mobro Igbo, you can't just sit down and this person destroy Ali Igbo.
And you keep quiet.
And you keep quiet.
Another thing I want to add is that some of you who are listening to us, you may know better than us. You may be way more traveled, way more educated. We have a lot of intellectuals. You know, they have beautiful ideas. Greatest of it. If you know better, please contribute better. One of the problems in Enwebo, we don't do. We sit by the side.
The good people keep quiet.
When people are doing, you start picking holes on what
criticize.
is. You know, we are very good at it. Very, very good. And when they can do any criticism, in the run something. Faga batching get it feel on harder for you. Once you made a step runner out of a food criticism, it's good. You know, but look. Start also bringing value.
Yeah, start doing also.
You know better how to make Alibo better.
Yeah,
bring it on the table.
Start it.
Because let me tell you what has happened over the years. The lack of responsiveness and responsibility from the people who claim to know, quote, the intellectuals, the leaders, they were nowhere to be found. The young people were hopeless. They didn't know where any help is coming from.
No direction, no sense of direction.
Nobody's telling them any truth. And somebody came and started telling them what they consider to be truth. And that's why they've tilted towards that.
Yes.
Now, if you keeping quiet, that, you know, hoarding your information or
hoarding your knowledge,
what you have, one day you will die and get buried with it. The Western world, the Europe of today, wasn't built by, you know, hoarding knowledge. We have the people. I was telling somebody about Estienne, for example, Isaac Newton
and the rest
these people didn't hold knowledge, and most of the things that they created, they documented it, put it out there, make sure that people, you know, learned about it and used it in development. The physics, look at the magnificent building of the Asians in Europe. It was as a result of the, you know, the physics and the geography that those Asian people came up with. Now the point I'm making is that if you know better, do better. Because you cannot continue to stand by the side. When you talk to some of them, the first person they will call is the government. Yes, governments have their own problem, but let me tell you, you and I are also part of the government.
No, you are
because
the government.
Government is just the person in charge and the people. Now, we have the office of the citizen. You have to be active, you have to be responsive and responsible. You have to be alive to your responsibility as a citizen.
True.
When you see something, you say something.
True.
When government is not doing the right thing, you say it's not doing the right thing. You vote right. You support the right candidate. You ensure that the mandates of the right person emerges. You know, is maintained, and
also holding leaders accountable.
So these are the things. These are the ways that we can all contribute. You can't just sit by the side and become an armchair critic without contributing anything. So I mean, that's all we have for you today. But we can continue to have this conversation and debate. We welcome your criticism. We welcome your suggestion or information. Any new thing you think we can talk about to advance the cause of Alibo. Our mission is to make Alibo great again, and it will be great in our lifetime. From here, I will be rounding up. From here is Uche Okoye, and I have with me
Gaius Chibueze. Akomane Dozi Obodo.
Dalu, we will see you some other time when we do this again together. But from now, it's a bye-bye.